Morning guys, it's Monday, week 4. Hope you've all had a lovely weekend and managed to enjoy the sunshine. I'm in the sunshine today, but I think this week the weather is due to change, so I hope you all made the most of it if you can get outside. Just having a look at our plan for today. We have a Zoom meeting at 2 with someone called Damien from Chelsea. Ellie is not here today to join us for our Zoom, where we'd usually be doing our Scoring for Health activity. So Damien is going to run a PE class with us. So it's going to be a bit of like an exercise workout, a bit like the Joe Wicks things if you've been joining in with Joe Wicks every morning. So make sure you're wearing your trainers. You can even wear your school PE kit if you're feeling fancy. I look forward to seeing you all there at 2 o'clock on the Zoom. The link to the meeting is underneath this in the resources section for the week. Your task today, you're going to carry on with your White Rose Maths. Your video is underneath this one. It's looking at rounding decimals. Remember all the rules for rounding. Before you start, you might want to write down the rules for rounding to help you remember. If we were rounding to the nearest 10 and we had 7, would we round up or would we round down? Well, if it's a 6, 7, 8, or 9, we would round up, or if it's a 5 as well, we would round up, and if it's one of the lower numbers, 1, 2, 3, or 4, we would keep it the same. We don't necessarily, we call it rounding down, but we keep the number the same. So this would round up to 10 if we were rounding to the nearest 10. See if you can remember those rules, though. That's really important. If you're finding your maths tricky, you need to ask a grown-up at home, and if you're still finding it tricky, you need to drop me a message on Padlet and I'll see if I can give you a hand. But I think the number lines on today's maths should be quite helpful. Writing today, our topic is all about London this week, so I would like you to find out about a famous Londoner. In your pack, I have put a link for a list of the greatest 50 Londoners as voted for by people living in London, so you might want to have a look at that list. I will put that in the resources section as well, and you can choose any famous person from London. There are tons and tons of them out there, and I want you to write an interview with them. So it might be helpful if it's someone that you've heard of or know a little bit about, or your grown-up knows a little bit about, because I want you to write some questions, and then I want you to see if you can answer those questions in character. Please don't ask random questions like, what did you have for dinner last night, or what's your address? That is not interesting information. If you're choosing someone like David Bowie, who's a really famous pop star from the 70s, you might want to ask some questions about his music career. If you're choosing someone like Queen Elizabeth I, you're going to ask questions about her reign that you can then find out using the internet. So I look forward to reading those. It needs to be 5 to 10 relevant questions, and they need to be punctuated correctly. And if it's not done like that, I will be sending it back to you. Your spag today, I want you to choose 10 new words that you've not used before. 10 words from the year 5, 6 spelling words. Some people, I think, have Googled common exception words and they've come up with a year 1, 2 list. Make sure you're using this year 5, 6 list of spellings. They're on the website, they're in your homework book, they're in your home learning packs as well. You need to choose 10 new words, and I want you to practice your handwriting using these words. So that means choose a word, system, and I want you to practice it all the way along the line. Lots of you didn't do this task properly last week, and I'm not sure why, because it's like the most easiest handwriting job ever. So system, I want you to actually think about your handwriting as well as your spelling. If they're not spelled correctly, I'm going to send it back to you. System, you should be able to fit maybe 5 to 8 words along your line if you're choosing a word that's not too long. Some of these words are quite long though. And I want you to think about what I said to you about your handwriting last week. It might be try and get your letters a bit straighter, maybe try and make sure your descenders aren't too long, try and get your letters a bit smaller. Think about what I asked you last week and see if you can really focus on that today. Oh, you can't see my system. I'm going to do another one here for you. System. Maybe choose some words that you don't know how to spell already from that list and that you've not already looked at. It says for a challenge, see if you can pair 2 of the words up and put them in a sentence together. So for example, some of them are hard to put into a sentence together that makes sense, but you could say the disastrous government did not handle the coronavirus very well. or the ancient competition was a cheese rolling contest. I don't know. See if you can think of some interesting, funny sentences for me to entertain me because I'm bored. Lastly, your topic work for today is looking at famous London landmarks, and you have a sheet that looks like this in your pack with lots and lots of famous London landmarks on here. I'm sure you've been to lots of them, but you might not have been to all of them. And London is really famous for its skyline. We have things like St Paul's, we have the London Eye, we have Big Ben, we have some really recognisable buildings, the Shard, the Gherkin, that really make London stand out. So what I would like you to do today is, on a piece of paper first of all, I want you to design a building which could belong in the London skyline, that would really add to the London skyline. So think about the shapes of the buildings on these pieces of paper already, and think how you could add to that. It could be as a block of flats, it could be an office block, or it could be for something else. And I want you to have a go at designing your own. And once you've designed it on paper, I then want you to do some junk modelling, find some boxes and bottles and paper, anything you can from your recycling bin at home. Make sure you've washed them first of all, if they're dirty. And I want to see if you can build your new building. Send me photos, I look forward to seeing them. Look forward to seeing you all at 2 o'clock for our Zoom as well. Hope you have a lovely day.